This episode of Bullet Heaven was made possible by H2 Interactive. In episode 35 of Bullet Heaven HD, we took a look at the PS2's Raiden III, one of only 7 dedicated shooting games to see release on Sony's second console in North America. As the first game in the series to be produced by MOS rather than Saibu Kaihatsu, Raiden III was a pretty rocky relaunch for such a beloved series after 11 years of absence. But you know what? Maybe we were a little too harsh in the original video, because the Raiden 3 Digital Edition, released to Steam on September 25th, 2014 by H2 Interactive, is actually a very playable game and somehow feels more solid than the PS2 release we've already taken a look at all those years ago. Let's take a quick look. We've already gone into the finer points of Raiden 3's gameplay, scoring, and presentation, so we're going to keep this brief. The gameplay in Raiden 3 is pretty much exactly the same as you'd have found in the PlayStation 2 version, released all the way back in 2007. Yes, the control is still very slow, perhaps the slowest in the series, but dodging bullets doesn't seem like as much of a chore in this particular version. As always, the progressive weapon system allows for more and more firepower to be spewed at your foes with ever-increasing efficiency. Even the iffy proton laser feels good. This particular version of Raiden 3 is actually a pretty old one. The Windows PC version has been around since 2006 in Japan, and the Steam version is just a redistributed digital version of that same release. As such, the inputs are kind of wonky. Finding a controller that works well might be tricky. I ended up using the SLS Saturn USB pad, but not before fiddling with the input settings in the separate config menu. I haven't been able to find a controller that will allow for the dual play like the PS2 version though. 360 controllers are not recognized by this version. Well, so far as I can tell. It's a bit of a downer, but in my case it's not a huge deal. The dual play option kills my head anyway. Playing with multiple key setups on a keyboard might be an option for anyone used to WASD. Regardless, local co-op is still available for anyone looking to take on the Cronassian threat with a buddy. There's also the unlockable boss rush mode as well, adding more playtime to the package. The scoring in Raiden 3 is, again, exactly what you'd expect. Multipliers for quick kills and the end stage bonuses that reward players for collecting gold pickups and making it through the stage without dying sit at the core of the score. Collecting weapon and sub-weapon pickups beyond max power will also boost the score as well. The lack of online leaderboards is almost expected given the straight port that Raiden 3 Digital Edition seems to be, but then again, there's nothing keeping you from jamming that print screen key to show off your exploits on message boards or other online scorekeeping outlets like highscore.com. Unlockable score attack modes are also available. Replays can also be saved as well. Now here's a very tricky subject. Raiden 3 runs at a paltry resolution of 640 by 480 by default. Cool if you have a CRT monitor or you don't mind a tiny window, but some people have been complaining about the resolution making things blurry or pixelated. The good news is, I don't know what the f*** these people are talking about. Even modest graphics cards can smooth out the admittedly jaggy visuals to make Raiden 3 look really friggin' great, especially in Tate. 1020 by 1280 looks pretty darn good on our end, and the results on screen should demonstrate without question that Raiden 3 on PC has the best visuals this game has seen. It just takes a little coaxing, that's all. The best part is that even in full screen with full anti-stropic filtering and anti-aliasing with 8 passes, Raiden 3 still runs at a smooth 60 frames per second on our modest little $300 PC. The sound is as good as ever in Raiden 3 Digital as well. I'll admit it, the music has grown on me considerably since the last time I looked at this game, and the whole OST is included when you buy the game. Brilliant! There's also a gallery mode that shows the 3D models used in the game, just like the PS2 version that opens up once the game is conquered. There's also a trove of cool concept art in the gallery as well. Finally, the UI and menus are exactly what we've seen before too, complete with Tate support, so long as you're in full screen. So, full-frame vertical shooting with ultra-smooth visuals are all yours in Raiden 3 Digital Edition. Now, let's see how this version stacks up. The control in Raiden 3 Digital Edition somehow feels like a step up from the PS2 version. It might just be me, but it's very workable, though still not perfect. The challenge here doesn't seem as obnoxious this time around either. Raiden 3's difficulty feels like it has a much better curve. At 7 stages, Raiden 3 is of adequate length compared to many modern shooting games. With the right GPU, you too can make Raiden 3 look simply brilliant. It turns out that I like the OST much more than I thought I did before. The included OST download is a great bonus. And once again in this version, there's nothing special in the ingenuity department here, mostly because the original release wasn't much of a trailblazer in and of itself. It's still a very solid game though. Okay, so I'll admit, for the asking price, Raiden 3 Digital Edition is a game that shooting fans, especially those who love some Raiden, should be taking a good hard look at. Raiden 3 is still the worst game in the series, but it still manages to be quite fun in the end and offers some sweet bonuses to boot. Raiden 3 Digital Edition gets a strong 3.5 out of 5. You can get the feature and bonus-heavy Raiden 3 Digital Edition on Steam and goodoldgames.com for just $9.99. Download it today and get ready to shoot like lightning.